Hey, what's up guys? RJ here, back with yet another video. So in this video I want to show you how to easily harvest these magnets from a magnetron tube. So you might be asking, well, what's a magnetron tube? A magnetron tube is a device inside of your microwave that produces the radio wave that causes the molecules within the food to vibrate, create friction, and thus cook. Each magnetron tube has 2 of these magnets, so lots of good uses for these magnets. I have tons of them, but being in the business, I have easy access to them. So from there, I want to show you how to take this magnet, embed it into some plastic using Simplify3D and one simple line of code. Well, actually, it's an expression, really, a regular expression, that will allow the print to pause, the bed to come down, so I can install this magnet inside of the plastic, hitting unpause, completing it out, creating this pretty cool little small screw holder. All right, so without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so before we get started, we need to talk safety. So obviously we're talking about possibly harvesting a magnetron tube from a microwave. That microwave is going to be not functional in one way or the other, hopefully. So you need to absolutely make sure that you find the high voltage capacitor and that you discharge it. You can use 2 heavily insulated screwdrivers, cross the screwdrivers together and hit the 2 posts on the capacitor. Make sure you do it several times. Make sure you get a good solid hit on the capacitor prongs. Make sure you short those 2 capacitor prongs together. Obviously, you're never going to have the microwave plugged in. Needless to say, I felt the need to mention that. Also, on the upper and lower portion of the mag tube itself, you'll see insulators. They're usually colored and they look and feel like ceramic. These are beryllium insulators, which, if at all possible, you do not want to scrape or break, and definitely not within a closed room. If you find that you're going to have to break them to get the magnets out, make sure you put a mask on, a respirator on, and take them outside before doing so. That stuff is toxic, and it's been known to cause cancer. So if you don't break them, you'll be fine. So now that I've just got my vise mounted on my bed, you're going to need a couple things. Some gloves, a pair of diagonal cutters, straight edge screwdriver, and either pliers or needle nose pliers. Now the first thing you want to do once you get it secure is to knock the bottom cover off of the housing. It's very easily done, as you can see. And then from there you want to take your diagonal cutters and cut as close to the mag tube as possible, right there on both of them. That's the filament winding right there. You want to make sure you cut real close there. Now normally I would do this at work and have much taller claws on my vise, and as you'll see here in a second, I kind of lose grip. But the idea is to break the top cover free from the side, and you just kind of work both sides until you break them free. Again, be careful that you don't break that ceramic insulator, that beryllium insulator. So you'll see here I struggle with not having the right size vise, but eventually, as you'll see, I get it to break free. And once you get that top off, the rest is pretty easy. This magnet tube's pretty flimsily made. Some of them are much thicker, and that top takes a little more effort to get off. So the first thing, once you expose the upper magnet, is to carefully take the retaining ring and the gasket off. The gasket is usually like a gold color mesh. Again, very careful here not to break the magnet or the insulator. Remember, the magnet's going to be holding that piece of metal down pretty well. These are pretty powerful magnets. Once you get that off, you just kind of wiggle the magnet off, and there you go, the upper one is harvested. From here, it's usually pretty easy just to wiggle the entire mag tube out of the housing, and then which will expose the lower magnet. And again, that typically just takes some wiggling. Take the retaining ring off there, and now you've harvested the lower one. So now you have two pretty strong magnets. Okay guys, real quick in Fusion 360, this is a really simple design. Basically it consists of a sketch and a revolve. So if we take a look at the sketch, as you can see, here's the profile, and just a word to mention. Your magnet height might be different. They're not all exactly the same, so make sure you measure it, allow for some tolerances, and then change it. And I'll leave the step file available for you to modify if need be. So from here, we just simply revolve it into this, and I'll show you that run the analysis on that we're indeed hollow here. So we'll just go ahead and save this out as an STL and get it over to Simplify3D, where the magic begins. Okay, so we're now in Simplify3D. Let's go ahead and import our model. And again, that's not in the right position, so we'll click Control L, touch the face that we want to contact the bed, hit center and arrange, and there we go. So the very first thing you want to do is you want to select your material, your layer height, how many layers. You want to make sure you have all of this sorted first. Then from there, you can go over to the script tab, and under additional terminal commands for post-processing, you'll add this regular expression. Now, I'm not real good at regular expressions, but this one's pretty straightforward. This is saying replace at layer 54, which it will enter it right before 54. The command G91, and by the way, the backspace and N will set the next command on the next line down. So we have a G91, a G1 for our Z repositioning at 150 millimeters, our M0 command, which is our pause command for my printer, and back to the G90. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Oh, and by the way, how you can find what layer you need to input here, it's real simple. Just go to Slice It, using the preview by layer, back your layer off until you see your first layer. And there's my first layer, is at 55. So that's where I come up with the 54, because you want it before the 54th layer. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this processed or sliced out, and let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like in the G code. So here's our G code file for that slice, and we'll take a look at how it embedded it in the source code, or in the G code rather. So easiest way is to hit Control F, and we know that we have an M0 command, so we'll search for M0, and there we go. So as you can see, here's the G91, next line, the G1 command, the pause command, and the G90 command. And then we're off. So let's go ahead and take a look at some kind of not so good time-lapse footage and see how all that worked out. So that's about it, guys. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward project. These magnets are just so incredibly handy. Be careful though, because they're pretty powerful, and if you get your fingers caught between two connecting magnets, they're gonna pinch you. And of course, remember the warnings. Make sure you short out that high voltage cap with well insulated screwdrivers. If you can get across both poles with one screwdriver, that's all you need. And of course, don't break the beryllium insulators. They're not easily broken, but you just need to know about the warning. Otherwise, it's perfectly safe. As with many things we do in life, there are risks, and you just need to understand and plan for them. So yeah, with Simplify3D and just the use of the regular expression, it's so easy to embed objects within your prints. But not only that, you can use it for filament color changes or material changes. I've been thinking about doing like a TPU on the first layer here, and then starting with the ABS or PETG. I'm not sure of the adhesion, so I'm kind of curious to see how that would work out, but sky's the limit. One of the things I failed to mention is the string, the expression, must be on the same line. So where you see the replace function, all your commands must be on the same line, and you can just keep stacking them. So if you have, again, multiple filament changes for multiple colors, or you want to embed multiple objects at different layer heights, no problem, easy. And in a later video, I'll show you how I have my home automation system connected to Octoprint, that at each pause, I get a push message on my phone letting me know that I gotta come down and embed my magnet or whatever. All right, guys, well, that's about it. If you liked this video and found it useful, give it a thumbs up. If you aren't already subscribed, consider doing so. Just a note about subscriptions. YouTube is doing some strange things here lately, and I've noticed that unless you click that little bell icon right next to the subscribe button, you may not be notified of new videos being uploaded. So make sure you do that. Otherwise, guys, take care.